Shalom, Shalom, Yasharala. This your brother Dawada, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, Akim, pushing this truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. So I want to jump into this here article, as we've been speaking on these prophecies that's been going on, and here you have a couple different prophecies that are at hand, but nevertheless, they're all speaking all at the same time. So we're going to touch back in on to these wars and these rumors of wars because, hey, World War III is still building and brewing in the background, amidst the famines that's going on in the earth, all right, the deterioration of societies, all right, and them pushing these plagues out on the earth, all right, but nevertheless, you still have the brewing of World War III being, being built up in the background. All right, it says U.S. orders amphibious assault ship into Black Sea after Moscow warns tensions escalating dangerously in waters off the coast of Russia. All right. Let me read that again. U.S. orders amphibious assault ships into Black Sea after Moscow warns tensions escalating dangerously in the water off the coast of Russia. So tensions are rising. All right. And, it's just being brought closer and closer to, the day of doom. All right. So it says American sailors, we'll just read the whole article. It's not that long. It says American sailors at the helm of a Navy landing vessel have charted the course for the Black Sea to take part in the war games alongside other NATO forces. The U.S. Sixth Fleet has announced on Thursday amid fears of conflict in the region. According to commanders, the U.S. naval ship Yuma, a Spearhead-class expeditionary fast transport craft, began its northbound transit into the Black Sea to operate with our NATO allies and partners. The twin-hull catamaran is able to transit a whole company of U.S. Marines and its equipment with both a flight deck and a ramp to allow armored vehicles to rapidly roll into battle. The Yuma will take part in the Colossal Sea Breeze exercise along with personnel from 32 separate nations, including Ukraine, UK, France, Poland, Georgia, Senegal, South Korea, Pakistan, Japan, and Morocco, among others. All right. So, this is what Russia's talking about, they always like to say about, their Russian aggression, the Russians. But what y'all don't realize is, look, America bringing them and all their NATO allies to surround, basically Russia and having these drills right up off their coastline and everything like that, man. All right. And, they have a lot of these different incidents that are going back and forth, and all they need is, them to, oops, we accidentally launched a missile over there and hit something over there in Russia or something like that. And then you got an all-out war, which we know, according to the scriptures, that World War III is going to take place. It is set a lot of time, right? We still have things to take place, like them pushing off this MOB, right? So continuing on, it says, Moscow has said the drill poses, it says Moscow has said that the drill poses a real risk for potential escalation in military tension. Last month, its diplomats called on the U.S. to refrain from participating, saying that the scale and aggressive nature of the sea breeze, I got some people rolling up on me right now. Nevertheless, says Moscow said that the drill poses a real risk for the potential escalation in military tension. Last month, the diplomats called on the U.S. to refrain from participating, said the scale and aggressive nature of the sea breeze exercise in no way helps the real challenges of ensuring security of the Black Sea region. All right, because ultimately this is what they're building up to, man. This is the point in time where they're trying to get to the point in time where they have Russia completely surrounded with their NATO allies and everything like that to just basically just launch off of World War III. So for people like saying, oh, there won't be another World War, there won't be another World War III, a nuclear war and everything like that, man. Look, the tensions are building in the background, and these stories right now aren't the biggest headline news stories that's going out right now, but this is why you have the prophets out here that's letting you know about, warning you of all these different things, all the calamities, all the danger, all the impending judgment that's coming upon the earth right about now. All right, so you're not caught like a thief in the night. You're not caught unaware. All right. It says, according to the envoy, the NATO drills will increase the risk of unintentional incidents and simultaneously encourage militaristic sentiments in Kiev. A spokesman for the U.S. Sixth Fleet had previously said that Washington is a proud partner with Ukraine in co-hosting the multinational maritime exercise. All right. Let me read this last paragraph. It says, Russia, which considers the region to be an integral part of its sovereign sovereign territory, responded with aerial flybys and warning shots from nearby warships. London refuses to recognize Russia's sovereignty over Crimea and insists the waters are belong to Kiev. Right. So look, going back into this, where they was having to give off these warning shots and everything like that, man. That's all it takes, man. They're like, well, they was firing at us, so we started firing back at them. You know, but as you see, these things are increasing. All right, the day of World War III is how I say rapidly approaching, man. All right, just like how they're setting up things with gradualism, World War III is a slow buildup. All right, you know, you have what they call Cold Wars before they have hot wars. All right, you know, they had the informational war that's allowing them, you know, which is going on as far as, oh, see, Russia's the aggressor. Russia was in the Russian hacking and hacking the elections and doing this and doing that. So this is why we have to go over there and make sure they ain't doing X, Y, and Z. You know, this is why we have to have these drills over there. They're trying to take over the Ukraine and everything like that, man. All right, pumping up the how do I say, the minds of these people. All right, in the information war to make it, you know, seem like Russia's the aggressor or the enemy, when it's really the other way around. But ultimately, it's the Most High that's drawing America into this here trap, man. This snare. All right, let's grab that real quick. Like I said, it's gonna be a really short lesson, but just keeping this here back hot into the you know, the circle of prophecies that's taking place. All right, this is Matthew 24, Marie, verse 3 first. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came up to him privately, saying, "Tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming and the end of the world?" All right, verse 6 says, "And you should hear of wars and rumors of wars." All right, and so, you know, you have different wars, like they right now pulling out of Afghanistan and things like that. We've been over in the Middle East for like the last 20 years. All right, with those wars going on over there. All right, and then rumors of wars, because they talking about, hey, man, we don't want y'all over here taking part in this military exercise, this military drill, because who knows, this could turn into, you know, World War III. All right, this could turn into a you know, unintentional catastrophe, basically. All right, it says, "You should hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines." All right, and what you also see that going on right now, too, with the increased prices of food, shipping, gas. All these things are participants in the prices of food going up, right? Creating this here famine. All right. You have restaurants that are having to pay their employees more money, which in turn they're just raising the price of all the food that you go in the store or in the restaurant to buy anyway. All right, which in turn, you know, you just spending more money at the restaurant to eat there. So I mean, yeah, you making more money at your job, but when it's time for you to go out to eat, it costs way more money. So did it really help you out anymore? All right. "For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows." All right, so this is where we're coming into. You know, 2019? That was a what they call it. You know, they was living their best life. 2020 was these sorrows are starting to kick up and pick up real heavy now, and this is where we at right now, man. All right, but then, you know, you have people going into this so-called slumber mode right now because look, they dishing out money and everything, so. You know, and they out of the lockdowns in a lot of places. So people are thinking, okay, things is going back. We about to turn up and everything like that. But lo and behold, in the background, you still have the wars and rumors of wars that's taking place. All right. When they should say peace and safety, then should sudden destruction come upon them. Oh, now they got these different medical situations going out now to where it's making people feel, how you say, safe and secure and everything. But then now you also have different variants coming out. All right. Which is about to put people into another lockdown again, man. All right, so hey, man, this here whole world is being prepped and primed for total judgment and destruction, man. All right, let me go into Jeremiah. Jeremiah 51:11. Let's start there. It says, "Make bright the arrows, gather the shields. Yahweh hath raised up the spirit of the king of the Medes." All right, so this is going into the Russians, right? Raise up their spirit, right? "For his device is against Babylon." So we ultimately know that at the end all be all, because we can read about Babylon's destruction, which, you know, Jeremiah 50 goes into it, 51 goes into it, you know, but we're reading from the perspective of the Russians. We know that, you know, if we know that Babylon going to be taken, and we know that the other side is going to be the Medes, right? And when we see, you know, how it's being played out, we seeing that, you know, America is pretty much being the aggressor upon Russia. All right. And Russia, like the scripture also say, prepare thyself. All right. And the nations that are joined together unto you. All right, ultimately for what? World War III, man. Conglomeration of nations. Like we was reading in that their article about how these different nations are doing these military drills right there on the border of Russia. All right, it's a conglomeration of nations on that side, on the American side. But we also know in the scriptures, according to prophecy, that all of America's allies are going to wind up turning on America, man. All right. But nevertheless, let's go back into this. It says, Jeremiah 51:11, make bright the arrows, gather the shields. Yahweh have raised up the spirit of the king of the Medes, for his device is against Babylon to destroy it, because it is the vengeance of Yahweh, the vengeance of his temple. So this is how Babylon the Great is going to get his judgment, man. This is how Babylon the Great is going to wind up going out, man, through the spirit of the Medes being raised up. All right, their devices, them preparing themselves for what? For battle, for war. All right. Well, let me just read it further on down. All right, because like I was just explaining, we understand that Babylon is going to be destroyed, and they're going to catch their judgment, but it's going to be the Russians that do it. Verse 12 says, just continuing on, set up the standard upon the walls of Babylon, make the watch strong. Set up the watchmen, and we're on the highways and the byways, putting up these here videos, all right, screaming from the high towers, letting you know, hey, man, World War III is coming. It's not, very wise for you to be trying to send your kids into the military right now to get free college and everything. No, they're going to be buried in the sands of time, man. All right, if they go out there, if they go in the military now, that's what it's going to be. All right, it's not the time to be walking like we the drunkards, saying, oh, it ain't going to be no war. It ain't going to be no nukes and everything like that. All right, we've had the prophecies for a long time. Just like in Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 3 saying, at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it. Now you're seeing it's getting more and more drastic. Now you're seeing it getting more and more heightened into these situations to where one wrong move could set all things off. All right, but we know that everything is set for a time and a place, man, because the Most High has, how do I say, everything in a certain time frame and in order. All right. Let me read 12 again. Set up the standard upon the walls of Babylon, make the watch strong, set up the watchmen, prepare the ambush, for Yahweh hath both devised and done that which he spake against the inhabitants of Babylon. All right. It says, well, going back into that, this is basically the spirit of the kings of the Medes being raised up, for his device is to destroy the whole land. All right. And it's going to be destroying what land? The land of Babylon. All right. Let me jump down. We can start at 27. It says, set up a standard in the land, blow the trumpet. Verse 27, set up a standard in the land, blow the trumpet among the nations, prepare the nations against her, call together against her the kingdoms of Ararat, Mini, Ashkenaz, appoint the captains against her, cause the horses to come up as the rough caterpillars. All right, going into, them devouring every damn thing. They about to come over here and destroy the whole land. Verse 28, prepare against her the nations with the kings of the Medes and the captains thereof and all the rulers thereof and all the land of his dominion. So ultimately, when the Lord has his appointed time for this to go down, which we already see that they're setting up or they're getting prepared. They're preparing themselves. Lord, we'll get it next. But they're preparing themselves right now. But they're preparing themselves for this here day of war. All right. You see these other nations right now, or Russia being a garden to these other nations and selling them weapons, selling them missile defense systems and technologies and warplanes and everything like that, man. All right. Getting in league with these other nations and trade deals with these other nations and everything like that. All right. Ultimately, because of the fact of what? The Lord is preparing war, preparing these nations to go to war with one another, man. All right. Because this is the end of Babylon. And this is how Babylon is going to wind up falling, man. All right. Just because you see these little subtle articles in the news and everything. Oh, they just talking. That's just propaganda. No, man. This is how this whole place is going to come to an end, man. All right. And you're watching it unfold. You're watching the end of everything that you know and understand right now. You're watching it all take place right now. It's all being built up right now to come to an end. All right. It says, verse 28, prepare against her the nations with the kings of the Medes, the captains thereof, and all the rulers thereof, and all the land of his dominion. And the land shall tremble and sorrow, for every purpose of Yahweh shall be performed against Babylon, to make the land of Babylon a desolation without inhabitants. So this is ultimately what the Lord has in store. All right, this is what the Lord has in store with those nuclear weapons. All right, this is what the Lord has in store for the gathering of all these different nations. all right, and them, how do I say, upgrading all their weaponry and everything like that, all right? The Lord is getting prepared to go to war, man, all right? And he's going to use Russia and America to go into World War III with their conglomeration of different allies and everything like that. And in the midst of this World War III, the Lord's going to come back and destroy all of them with the chariots, man, all right? Oh, well, let me read this. And the land shall tremble, and sorrow for every purpose of Yahweh shall be performed against Babylon, to make the land of Babylon a desolation without inhabitants. The mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight. They remain in their holds. Their might have failed. They become as women. They have burned her dwelling places. Her bars are broken. One post shall run to meet another, and one messenger to meet another, to show the king of Babylon that his city is taken at one end. And the passages were stopped, and the reeds that they have burned with fire, and the men of war were frightened. So ultimately, like I said, man, this is ultimately the Lord's judgment. And this is how the land of Babylon is going to be ultimately destroyed, man. All right, through thermonuclear missiles by way of a World War III, which is going to consist of the nations of, being headed by, Russia and America. But they're going to both collectively have their conglomerations of nations with them. You see right now, America going over there with these military drills, all right, with their conglomeration of nations. But ultimately, like the prophecy say, that they that eat thy bread, all right, they've laid a wound under thee, a snare, all right. So, they brought you even out to battle, man. They're going to give you that okie doke, that trick bag, man, all right. Let's read up about Russia real quick. Let me just get to the point. Ezekiel 38, because going into this, like I said, we could read this as well, too, but for time's sake, they have a conglomeration of the nations with them. So it says, be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be a guard unto them. You know what? Let me see if I can find this as a precept real quick. I think it's Jeremiah 50. I don't think it's verse 3. Hang on 1 second. Salakia. Yeah, here it is. Jeremiah 50 and 9. It says, for lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken, and their arrow shall be as a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain. All right. So ultimately, just as America is building up their arsenal with their conglomeration, their allies, and everything like that, the same thing is taking place right now with these Russians, man. All right. And ultimately, this is how it's going to go down. World War III, man. Multiple nations. You like we just read. You're gonna hear wars and rumors of wars. So let me grab. I just had another precept just slipped my mind. I wanted to grab. But nevertheless, hey man, all these things are coming to an end. Let me just close out with that as well. Habakkuk 2 and 3. All right, because a lot of people say, oh, there ain't gonna be no wars and everything like that. Man, you watching it, the writing on the wall is taking place right now. This Habakkuk 2 and 3, it says, let me read verse 2. Let me read from the top. And I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the towers, and I will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. All right, so look, this is what we out here doing, man. We're out here warning our people. All right, we're out here making the visions plain upon tables, that you may run that read it, because of the fact, you don't have to go in and know all these geopolitical things and who is the leader of this nation and that nation, and what's going on with this trade deal and that trade deal, and why this pipeline is important, and why this here missile defense system is important, or this here plane is important, or this here bomb is important. You don't need to know all those things, because why? The minute the Lord has already gave us the downloads to go and break these things down unto you, man. All right, so all you got to do is watch the videos. And in these videos, we want to breaking all these things down and showing you how these things are all coming together, how these prophecies are all speaking, man. All right. Verse 3 says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. All right. So we're at the end right now. It says, but at the end it shall, let me read it again. For the vision, all right, these prophecies, all right, is yet for an appointed time. So we was just reading about how the Lord was going to raise up the spirit of the king of the Medes for his devices to destroy the whole land of Babylon. All right. That's a vision, right? That's a prophecy. The vision is yet for an appointed time. So we know that, World War III is not going to pop off tomorrow. There's a couple other prophecies that have to take place first, right? So, but it's for an appointed time. It says, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. And I always give this example about how, some years back when I was first coming into the truth, right? Looking at just the state between Russia and America at that point in time, it didn't really even seem like they was really going to go to war or anything like that because, you know, things wasn't all that heightened. You know, they wasn't really, America wasn't really looking at Russia like that. You know, I mean, they always had their eyes on them, but they wasn't really, you know, as you see them now, putting all these laws onto them and saying they're doing this, and they got the hacking going on, and they meddling in the elections and all these different things, you know, propagating up all this propaganda against them so that the American population, because with the election thing, that got Russia into the minds of the majority of all these Americans, man. And so what did it put into their minds? Oh, Russia's them the bad guys. If they over here going to interfere with our elections, they spying on folks, they the bad guys. So when, you know, you see things like, oh, America's having these drills right there on the doorsteps of Russia, all right, the Americans are like, so they the bad guys anyway. But they don't even take account of like, yo, if you look at all the U.S. bases around the earth, all right, not in America, but all the U.S. bases around the earth, all right, and you combine that with all the NATO bases around the earth, all right, because America, you know, is the whore that rides upon the beast, which is, you know, basically, you know, America is the head of NATO as well, all right. So when you put that together and you look at this on a map, you'll see that Russia is completely surrounded with all these bases, man, all right. And this is what America is ultimately trying to do, is trying to take them down, all right. It says, for the vision is yet from the point in time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. All right. And this is what it's doing right now. It's speaking loud and clear. You seeing these things that in the news not to say back to back, but every once in a while you start seeing big flare ups and things like that with the wars and the rumors of wars as we getting closer and closer to World War III. All right. It says, but at the end it shall speak and not lie, though it tarry, wait for it because it will surely come. It will not tarry. And like I was just saying, not too long ago, or some years back, it didn't even seem like this was like really going to pop off, or it wasn't that close to the doorsteps and everything like that. But then now all of a sudden, you know, we had a couple times where you had like the terrorists they was out there supposed to be fighting in Syria, where you had America bombing some some positions over there, but they was bombing really close to where Russia was at, man. All right, and then we were reading an article where you had, you know, in a previous drill where they were getting too close to the Russian sovereign territory, and they had to start shooting warning shots and do flybys over them and everything like that. All they had to do is, like, let's say for one of them pilots to just dip his plane down right into the, let's say they're firing off into the water or something like that, you know, them to drive one of their boats right into the line of fire, or, you know, they shooting some warning shots into the air or something, and them to fly their plane right into that. Like, oh, that was an act of war. We get to go to war with them now. We're going to bomb y'all. Hey, that's how simple it's going to be for them to start off with war, man. All right. So though it tarry, wait for it, because at the end it shall come. Let me read that again. It says, though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. All right. Because look, ultimately, this is what the Lord has planned for the destruction of America, man. And this is how it's going to take place through, you know, thermonuclear missiles being sent off by Russia. And, you know, Russia's going to get tired of having to, defend its name and its character. Because look, you know, internationally, all these other countries are looking at Russia for some type of aid, whether it be natural gas and oil. They want to buy military defense weapons and everything like that. So they don't see them as a bad guy or anything like that. Even some of America's allies, man. But what is the sentiment that they're pushing over here in America, man? That Russia's the bad guy, they the enemy. They always meddling in some stuff. They always doing some things, man. But ultimately, like I said, or like the scriptures say, man, ultimately when that day comes, man, it's going to, you know, end off with Russia waxing America's ass with them thermonuclear missiles to make this whole land desolate, man. All right. So, hey, I'm going to go ahead and close out with that. Lord willing, this here lesson was edifying unto the elect. Until next time, I say, call halal, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Rakak Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone that taught us this truth and every will. And salutation and much love for you, Aki, pushing this truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth, and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Until next time, I say, stay strong. Shalom.